Holosky podcast. We are your hosts. I'm Steven.
And Kyle.
And it's Monday, Hollow Cult. You know what that means. We are here to drop kick you into new work week. Hopefully it's not terrible, but you know how that goes. Anyway, I got a little recent mystery I put together that we're going to jump into after we get through the business. Pretty interesting, and oddly enough, it kind of ties into what Kyle is going to do for the next episode.
Yep, it sure does, which is, it just goes back to show the oddity that me and Steve live and walk sometimes.
Yeah.
Because it is 100% true that we never talk to each other about what we're riding, what we have going on, anything. It's always a last minute thing, and the fact that these two line up is extremely bizarre.
Synchronicities abound. That being said, we got to get through the business first and foremost. So check us out at all our social medias: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, Discord, Reddit. Search up the Holosky podcast, and we will be there. Come join the community, join the Hollow Cult, and just have a good time. You know the drill. If you have a listener experience you'd like for us to feature on a future show of our Thursday episodes, listener experience episodes, Kyle has some info for you you're going to want.
I do. If you would like to send that over to the email, holoskypodcast@gmail.com, you can write it out, record it, shoot it there. You can also text or call the holophone, which is going to be 618-556-0837, or mail us, like real-time mail, Holosky Podcast, P.O. Box 145, Fielden, Illinois, 62031. Any way that you contact us is much appreciated, although I know that we've been critiqued on not being the best about anything, so there is that.
We do suck.
Yeah, we do.
Everything.
It's acknowledged. Thank you for that. It is definitely needed for our confidence and our ego. It's much appreciated.
It is. Like I said, I was going to make a suggestion box on the website where you guys can critique us, but it was just going to directly link you to like Red Circle or Podbean to start your own podcast. But we're not being petty, right?
No, it's okay. It's okay. I mean, I think we deserve the opportunity to call out those that call out us.
Yeah, because we're the ones with the platform.
Or just we're also human beings that deserve a level of respect as well. But hey, who am I, right?
Yeah. Anyway, after that rant, if you'd like to support us, there's plenty of ways you can do it. Patreon, which if you're going to sign up on that $7 tier. I think I've got it set up to where it's the only one you can sign up for, because that's going to be the only tier moving forward. If you are a patron member now, be sure to cancel your old membership and sign up for the new one if you would like to continue being a patron. If you don't, you will still get charged at the old tier, but you will not have any access to any of the tier benefits. And that's not cool.
No,
you don't do really that. That's, again, going to take place April 1st. It's not April Fool's joke. It is a real deal. What else we got? We got a website, holoskypodcast.com. You can come over, hang out, check the web store. We got some merch there. Grab you some Holo swag. Got a Venmo if you want to throw some pocket change in to support all of our bad habits. We appreciate it. The best thing you can do is share the show word of mouth. Constantly be on that grind. Sharing the show. Like we said, we've kind of hit a stagnation point where our growth is just non-existent and is kind of moving backwards. So we're going to try our best to overcome that and see what happens. But any help is definitely appreciated. You can also go to wherever you listen to podcasts and leave us a 5-star rating and review. Greatly appreciated. I was going to read one today, but I can't remember which ones I read and which ones I haven't. So I'm going to have to start over from ground zero. But we appreciate it. Keep those coming. On to our
show for the day?
Yeah, I was trying to think of
Brain Fart City.
Yeah, a word. Content for the day. This is what I'll just call the Schuylkill Notes. And it has been brought up by quite a few listeners that have sent pictures to articles that have happened, or of people who have found these. It's very recent, continuing to this day. But it's weird. It's weird.
Well, with a name like that, I wouldn't expect anything less.
No, and I do appreciate everyone who has sent in for us to look into this. I was kind of just trying to let it play out, see where it went. But it just seems to be exponentially growing. So I figure we ought to talk about it.
Yeah, I'm curious.
And it's kind of right up our alley with other episodes we've done, like with mysterious letter writers and finding mysterious things that have no actual like author or any proof to who's putting it out there. But for the most part, these Schuylkill Notes took off in 2020. There are reports on social media that a few notes were found in late 2019, and there are ties to these being found in 2015, but a little bit different, which kind of makes it strange. But the way that these notes are being found is so out there that it is now like garnered the attention of the FBI and the FDA and state senators. And
that's interesting. Why is the FDA involved?
Oh, you're about to find out.
Oh, because that was the one that kind of took me for a shock there. You say FBI, you're like, okay, naturally so. CIA, NSA, DOD, Homeland. You're like, oh, okay. Not the FDA.
FDA is one we don't hear very often.
No. So now I'm definitely perked up where the FDA comes in.
Yeah, you'll find out. It's bizarre. The mystery pretty much is, its center point is around
not to interrupt, but I hope that in the end, when we are being tracked by an organization, it's the FDA.
Oh, yes. You've both consumed more monsters than humanly possible. We're going to have to study you now.
Oh, God. That's awesome. I would not be scared at all if somebody knocked on the door and was like, I'm with the FDA. I'm going to go, okay.
God, I hope they have badges.
I don't give a shit.
They flip them open like Mulder and Scully.
Yes.
FDA.
Oh, that's perfect.
We're here to confiscate your Fruit Loops.
No, not the Fruit Loops.
So this mystery surrounds Schuylkill County, Pennsylvania. A little bit about it. It's obviously where the Schuylkill Notes get its name from, but
you say it's a county?
Yeah.
Okay.
Schuylkill County is in the Commonwealth. There is a Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, located in the heart of Pennsylvania's coal region and the northeastern part of Pennsylvania. As of the 2020 census, the population was just shy of 150,000.
Oh, so it's a pretty big area.
Well, for a county, I don't know if that's a lot.
I don't know either.
Because I said it's in the coal region, so in my brain, I'm thinking it's kind of remote.
Yeah, it might be. It might be smaller than what I mean. 150,000 people is still a large amount of people, but for an entire county, you're right.
Yeah. And we don't know how big the county is either.
Right, yeah.
So around the summer of 2022, residents of Schuylkill County began finding these strange typewritten notes inside sealed items they're purchasing from their grocery store. To eliminate that these are just brand specific, some of the notes were found in brands, but not limited to, products such as Lucky Charms, Lindt chocolate bars, Nature's Path Panda Puffs, San Giorgio pasta, various brands of dog food, Belvita cookies, Milk Duds, Hot Tamale candy, Duncan Hines cake mix, children's Tylenol, a whole bunch of different things. People are buying these, and they're sealed. When they open them,
right,
they find these notes.
So that's where the FDA comes in from.
Bingo.
And B, one would think at least that in order to pull that off, you'd have to do that at the factory. prior the package is being sealed. One would think.
You would think.
I'm not saying that we're not about to hear a twist or experience a twist, but logic would dictate that it would have to be done before these packages are sealed in order to get these letters inside there. And that would be disturbing to open up your child's Advil and find a fucking note inside.
Yeah.
I don't even know what they say yet, but the fact that there are notes inside my food, that'd be slightly concerning because you wouldn't want to eat that food from that point forward. And then just the fact that there's a note, it's just bizarre.
And there's plenty of YouTube videos. All the big YouTube content creators covered this, but there were even people demonstrating how you could get these notes into sealed packaged goods. Like one was found in a box of Pop-Tarts, right?
Uh-huh.
Fully sealed. But if you squeeze the box just a certain way, there's just enough gap where you can slide.
That's fair.
A piece of paper in. Oh, and they also, people have dug into this. If you take another piece of cardboard and slide it in there, you can it almost makes like a perfect little slide where these little perfectly folded piece of paper.
So in the children's Tylenol, it's not actually in
the bottles.
The bottle.
There is.
It's in the box.
Yes, in the box.
Okay. See, I was picturing you put your finger through the thing and there's a letter inside there.
There was one person who claimed he found his note inside the actual bag of his cereal. Right?
Okay.
So he said, there's an interview you can watch on YouTube. He said he opened his box of Lucky Charms. They were unopened, completely sealed. Took the bag out, opened the bag, and then went to pour his cereal, and out fell the note. First thing I find is sus is that he takes the bag out of the box.
Yeah, that's that's where I was at. Although I guarantee we're gonna have people.
I always take the bag out of the box.
Yes, I guarantee that's a reality somewhere.
Yeah.
Because at first when you were describing that, I was like, well, that's fucking weird that he took it out of the box. Because I envisioned him saying, which of course, changed, but I envisioned him saying, I took the bag out of the box, and then without even opening the bag, I noticed the letter inside the thing. I'd be like, okay.
Oh, he was pouring in a bowl, and out it popped.
Interesting.
Which a lot of people have kind of called shenanigans on, because if it were true, it'd be the only one of its kind. And a lot of people said the chances of it actually being stuck to the bag are probably well more prevalent than it being in the bag.
Right.
But also, when this first started, they thought that it might be linked to one specific grocery store or one specific chain, but that changed super quick because the notes were found in products purchased from multiple different stores, including Walmart, Target, Giant, Weis Markets, Wegmans, Trader Joe's, Dollar General, CVS, Kohl's, Goodwill, Lowe's, Cabela's, Aldi's, Goodwill, all sorts of stuff all across the gamut.
Did anybody kind of find a general location for all these places?
Yes, it is primarily, especially in the beginning. Keep in mind, this is kind of still 2020-ish. It is specifically surrounded around Schuylkill County. Just that one small, there were a couple,
so it's feasible for a person or persons to drive around and do this stuff.
Yes. I think they said there was a specific demographic around Allentown, and I can't think of where the other ones were, but people also started finding them in the pockets of clothing purchased from some of these stores, like in pants pockets and jacket pockets. Pretty easy places to put things, right?
Oh, for sure.
Gets a little stranger because, especially, you got to consider the time when this is going on. 2020 is in the especially summer 2020, the heyday of the pandemic.
Yeah.
Right. So people aren't out shopping a lot.
Right.
Essentially, a person could go in there and there'd be 3 other people in the damn store.
Right.
So you have a lot of time to yourself. But on the flip side of that, it's almost like they started it and it wasn't getting the recognition that they wanted it to. But what did people also start doing like right in that summer? They started going outside more, being outside, doing stuff in the parks and shit. Well, people began finding these notes in small plastic containers with paper clips and string attached to trees along walking trails in the community parks in Schuylkill County.
So whoever's doing it clearly is going out of their way to have these messages found.
Yes.
Are they all the same context, or are all the messages different?
They vary in what they say, but the context of the notes all kind of vibe the same. Right?
Have they found notes that say the exact same thing word for word?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yep. So,
because it would be far more interesting if each individual note was utterly different from the last.
Which as it goes on, the water gets real muddy because you don't know if like one person or group is ramping up their distribution of these, or if there are copycats now kind of joining this weird mystery just to kind of be part of something, which, is a commonality.
Because if that would be even harder to suss out if all of them were individually different.
Yeah.
Unless the person had a said motive or particular writing style that wasn't easily duplicated.
Yeah.
Because we all have like particular ways how we talk and enunciate. And if you could portray that, it would be difficult because you would have to do it in a way that is not super prominent, like prominent enough for people to catch it and also use that, but not subtle enough to where it gets overlooked by everybody.
Yeah, and if you really look at and you bring up a good point, because the notes are written in this weird, like abbreviated form of writing where they abbreviate words and all different kinds of stuff to almost like they're trying to fit more words on the paper.
Oh, gotcha.
Than there is. But the backs of these paper are all blank. Like they could have put more words on there, but they just chose not to.
Right.
Again, there was only one person, I believe, that found it completely sealed inside their food. It's also to be noted, it's unclear how many of these were thrown away, thinking that they may have been instructions for their products. Like you open a bag of brownie mix, you think, oh, hey, this is how you bake a cake. Well, I already know how to bake a cake, so people just pitch them.
And I'm actually with the take on the one in the actual bag was probably horse shit.
Yeah. A lot of people are kind of in that.
I think that's a fair assessment. I really do.
So from there, we're going to jump directly into the notes. The notes are pieces of paper that are about 2 inch by 3 inches in length. They're all 19 lines in length. They vary in what exactly is said. They all surround various topics that are tied to prominent secret society and conspiracy hot button issues. The first ones that were found in 2020 on the left had the word lies at the top and the bottom of this paper on the left side in most cases. As far as the paper goes, nothing notable about it. It's just regular like printer or photocopier paper. Nothing could be traced. It's just normal paper. The notes are usually difficult to read because the writer uses these odd abbreviation patterns that I was mentioning in order to, like, in my opinion, it almost felt like they were trying to fit more stuff on the paper.
It's also like kind of like what I was talking about is creating a mannerism system through like a literary context that is hard to duplicate.
Yeah.
Because that really, I mean, and it is weird that it follows the same pattern. Like he has a particular setup, like you were saying, all 19 lines, and they're all on this particular size of paper. And to me, that shows like a type of intent, because you could have used a whole piece of paper, and wrote how, whatever you fucking wanted and hung it up like flyers. But you chose this format for a reason. And maybe it was just the reason of like a calling card per se, not that it has some type of hidden meaning behind it.
It goes hard, let me tell you. So I'm going to read you. I found 3 different examples of these notes. I'm sure there's probably more out there, but these are the most prominent ones that I found. This first one is the lies note. And again, multiple of these were found. And I'll just start reading a little bit of this as best as I can. It says secret societies, abbreviated as SS, which is probably not the best abbreviation to use, ties to terrorisms, shootings, stage confrontation. Other crises aren't reported, but JFK and Lincoln were warned of secret societies. Europe's Aryan elite and their secret societies, parentheses, Vatican, Jesuits, Masons, leading secret societies and other religions are the Illuminati. Secret rites and signs. System unites under secret society. Trump, Biden, Dalai Lama. Sign. SS symbols relate to Saturn, god of time, Lord of the Rings. What else does it say here? It talks about China and Islam. It talks about a prayer wheel. Fire torch, Saturn's burning pole. White rays, Fox News, CDC, the Vatican again, ExxonMobil. Secret Society said that Saturn was near Earth, golden age when gods ruled man. The elite, front for tiny, different races called Dragon Kings. Their long skulls, unmasked images, cave cities were found in Peru and Easter Island. Black Sea, Dragon King's agenda, socialism, caste system. It talks about the P word that no one wants to talk about. The DKs need disarmed and surveilled. It just kind of keeps going on and on and on. I can post these if people haven't seen them yet. The next one, the lies on the left have been removed, and it talks about, it just says chaos, riots, terror tied to secret society. JFK was warned. Pretty much the same thing over and over again, but with just subtle changes as to who they're talking to, what big entities they're talking about, such as like big pharma or these big like NWO companies, Amazon and such. The third one I found, it just says a secret sign, and then it goes into pretty much the same thing as secret societies, Pfizer, just a lot of hot button conspiracy jargon, kind of all like, you can see these, Kyle, they're kind of all just hodgepodge together in these weird notes. It's
like the overall style of it and descriptions this person is giving, like, I'll be honest, like it almost feels like the ramblings of a madman.
Yeah, which is,
it really does. But at the same time, per the year and situation we were all faced with, it also, I don't know if it broke the human psyche. I don't know if it unveiled the prevalence that these societies and situations hold over us as normal people, but it did. That situation in itself forged a new era of conspiracy and a new era of thinking, whether that's good or bad, right? Because like these ramblings, because imagine you are a middle America, blue collar dude, walking his kids, in the walking trail, and you're just out there and you find this letter hanging from the tree and you try to read it, or you open up your cereal and this letter falls out and you start reading. You're going to read it and go, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Especially if you're nowhere near tied to secret societies or anything in that nature, you are going to look at this like, who in the fuck put this in my box? This is asinine. Not to mention, I honestly, God's honest truth, I feel like a normal person sees that letter, they're initially going to think contamination, and they're going to throw everything away.
Yep. That was my first thought, too. If I were to find that, I'd say, think somebody has fucked with this.
Yes.
Especially given the context.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yep. Because if you
this isn't a love letter saying you're cute, I like you, call me. It's
because it talks about all the riots and the shootings and gun confiscation and all sorts of stuff.
You know what it also feels like? It feels like somebody is trying to, which could be fucking a play, but it feels like somebody is doing, and I'm not going to get any of this right, but I hope you see the image in my head of like when the British are coming, like it's these old school style newsprints that are warning of
A warning.
Yes,
Yep.
like they're writing about the crown coming and doing all this stuff, and like it 100% feels like that, especially from the location in Pennsylvania and just on the East Coast. It just, for me, it has that whole like hidden printing press leaking news to the surrounding public.
Yep. They talk about Skull and Bones. This one, the Chariot Riot one, says watch dark cities. Our number one enemies are domestic.
What are dark cities?
Dark City is a movie, I'm assuming, because I looked it up.
Oh, okay.
It is a movie from either the 80s or 90s. I don't know. I didn't really look into it that much. Definitely didn't watch it. But anybody that knows the movie, if you can find some tie-ins however you could tie it into this, please let us know. Yeah, so they're all a little bit different. Not all of them, but the different sects of these are all a little bit different. They talk about different things.
I do feel like those in particular are written by the same individual.
They are very, and also notice they're all folded exactly the same.
Yeah, which is weird.
It is weird.
It's weird, which shows like a process, a OCD style thing.
Yep.
And then they're all, I see they have these underline notations in them, which a copycat would probably try to do, but I don't know if they'd pull them off as the same as this person.
And it would take a lot to mimic their personalized abbreviation patterns.
Yeah,
because these are they're all pretty much the same.
Yeah, and it's not like a talk key system. It's literally like this is someone's own visionary thing coming out, which, like you said, would make it extremely hard to
mimic.
Try to mimic. Yeah.
So as we spoke on, the common theme in these notes are secret societies, their symbolisms, their connections to culture and business and history and the government. And it's almost like it takes all of the big conspiracy theories that were running rampant still, I mean, at the time and still this day, and try to fit it all on there. But it also like brings in these weird, like big cultural things like Lord of the Rings and Disney and all of these big companies and products that we use.
Which honestly, like it sounds like you know what it sounds like? It feels like somebody who got lost. And I ain't talking shit. I'm just saying it sounds like someone who got lost on one of them Telegram pages.
Yeah.
Where they point out all the big time, like you said, hot button conspiracy topics. And then somebody's seeing these hot button issues and they're reading them and just going, holy shit, I got to get this out there for the rest of the world to see.
That's what they said. They like initially a lot of people saw it and thought it was somebody that was like trying to push the whole Q culture, like trying to get as much information out as they could. And as opposed to doing it online, they were trying to do it in the like physical world.
Well, and you got to think too, if that is the case, these types of people who I do fall into this category to a degree, so I'm not throwing shade. A lot of these types of people don't like the internet for fear of being found.
Yep.
So it makes way more sense that someone with that type of I don't really know what descriptive words you want to use here, obsession, concern, takes to a more of a mail system versus like being online where they have a quote unquote digital fingerprint for the government to track down.
Yep. Common themes in common government themes, I should say, in our notes include New World Order, Nazism, CIA, the FBI, Federal Judiciary of the United States, the Drug Enforcement Agency, European Union, the World Bank, Hamas, Vladimir Putin, JFK, Barack Obama, Donald Trump, British royal family, Dalai Lama, the Pope. Media companies mentioned on the notes include Fox News, CNN, Google, Bing, Pfizer, AstraZeneca, Bayer, Ford, Toyota, Audi, Mazda, BMW, Subaru, Pillsbury, Aquafina, Folgers, Nescafe, Domino's, Exxon, Sunoco, Oprah Winfrey, and Elon Musk. I wanted to make note that the content of these early notes, when they started popping up, when people would type them out and search for them in the internet, they were not found. So it was not copied and just printed like via something they found on the net. These were all hand typed in the beginning and sent out there. So these were all thoughts put to paper, not just copying something on the internet and putting it out there. Where they are like regurgitating things that they heard, but they manually wrote it out.
Right, yeah, absolutely.
So they were popping up kind of regularly, but not enough to really be noted. They popped up on multiple Reddit threads in 2020 to 2022, which, like Reddit does, it kind of brings some light to them, and they kind of go viral, but they just kind of fizzled out. Like, a lot of shit was going on in those years, and paying attention to something like this...
Well,
really...
it also is Reddit.
Yeah.
So even viral things on Reddit still don't necessarily make it to mainstream, quote unquote.
Yeah. So from there, we're going to fast forward to late 2023, and now the notes have again started to resurface, and an entire subreddit called the Schuylkill Notes was started as of last September. Not only for people to post their notes when they were found, but also brainstorm ideas about the notes and the purpose of their creator. It should be noted that the area that the notes are found have started expanding as well. They're not only being found in Pennsylvania, but states surrounding Pennsylvania, being Maryland, Ohio, and New York. Also ones found as far south as North Carolina, and one being found on the border in Texas. So, the first possible example was dug up by a Redditor that found a now deleted post from 2015 where a person found strange notes on the changing room floor of a mall in Pennsylvania. The same size, but the context was a little different. The lies was not posted on there. It was written pretty much in the same weird abbreviation, but what they were talking about was different. They talked about Russian hackers and Hillary Clinton and kind of hot button topics for 2015.
Yeah. So that makes sense. I think it fits the bill.
Again, back to now, the notes are gaining more notoriety and more are being found. If you go to the Reddit page, you can look up, and the notes are being found pretty much daily. People are actually going out searching for them. One person posted on there that in one weekend while hiking, they found 36 notes. Park ranger at the Union Canal Trail found 24 on one hike. So this brings up the question, like I posed earlier, is the increased number of this person really going ham, putting them out there? Has he recruited a few people? Or are they copycats looking to be part of this local mystery to just try to be part of something.
Could be a network, man.
Yeah.
Because think about that. Like, think about what it would take. Unless homie has no, because even then, if you're talking food-based items, they don't sit on the shelf for that long. Because I was gonna say, even if he's been doing it since 2015, it's just now being discovered, but that's not gonna be the case because food rotates faster than that. So, and then imagine what it would take. Imagine for the amount, unless it's like, I guess the only way that I could see him being a solo act is if those 36 notes found in one day are on the same trail. Like homie brought a backpack full of notes in their containers with paper clips already staged on them and was walking down the trail going clip, 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 clip. And then just so happens that somebody stumbled on it the next day and collected 36 of those notes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if you're talking like a vast area where, say you and me went out to two completely different locations and collectively we stopped at 10 locations apiece and we collected anywhere from 30 to 60 notes, that feels more of network than me.
Yeah.
To me.
I thought it'd be a good idea to bring up the Reddit and show Kyle how these are being found. Some of them are just thumbtacked onto park benches. A lot of them have like odd colored paper clips and like yarn attached to them. But there are multiple people finding them. And some of them are even older, like look like they've been sitting out there for months and months and months. They're just dilapidated. Like you can see that they've just weathered.
It'd be cool to have one.
Yeah, I was gonna do a call out.
It'd be cool to have one. It's hard to put your finger on this one.
It would be strange to open up. Like this is just a frozen meal of buttered chicken. It would be so weird to open that up and there'd be shit inside there.
But that brings me to another point why I think it's a network. Because imagine especially with the damn food one, imagine how difficult that would be to stand there all day long shoving notes into different boxes. Like somebody eventually is going to be like, hey, what the fuck are you doing?
Yep.
Why are you just looking at these boxes trying to shove shit in them?
Yep. Because
somebody, no matter what, somebody is going to catch him shoving stuff into a box. There's no way you go unseen unless he's doing one and then bouncing out of the store. But for the amount of notes that are being found, I don't think that's the case.
Yep. Yep. It is weird. Like there's one from a box of graham crackers. You open it up to make your kids lunch and there's a fucking note in there. Like, look at this one.
Yeah.
That's been out there for a hot minute.
Yeah, for sure.
Tied to twigs, rubber banded together, just hanging from the trees.
It's so
out there.
weird. I think it's a network of people.
Yeah.
I really do. Like that's what my gut says. That's a network, because the orientation in which especially these outside ones, that orientation, they're all different. Like you said, that one, they got these colored paper clips holding these ones. You got some that are thumbtacked to things. You have some that are rubber banded to branches. You have some that are hanging from yarn tied to something. That feels like almost like a personal preference of presentation.
Yeah. Yeah. Or almost like they're trying to tell you something with the way that they're found.
It could be.
Does that make sense?
And they are kind of obscurely placed as well, which is interesting.
It'd be interesting to know, like, look, it's pinned behind
a leaf.
A leaf.
That's weird. It
would almost be interesting to know if the color of the paperclip coincided with which actual note you got.
Yeah.
If there's a box of Skittles like one you get at the movie theater.
Yeah.
People are going all over the place with it. They were feeding the letters into ChatGPT to turn it into like images, and they turned out weird with this conglomeration of like symbols of time and all kinds of weird shit. But That's neither really here nor there. I just wanted to tell you like the links that people are going to try to figure out.
I was gonna say, I think that's a stretch there.
Yeah,
trying to use that to
people were just
fabricate something,
going through to try to figure out if it pop anything up. But as you can see, there are tons and tons. If you go to r/Schuylkill notes, there are tons of them being found.
I think it's interesting to say the least. I don't know. Wow, that person has a shitload of them.
36 more Skooky notes.
See, and the way that is, that makes me feel like somebody had a backpack full of shit, walked a path, and was clipping them to whatever, and then this person just happened to find one, and then continued the path and was finding more as they went.
But it's weird because some of them are wrapped in
so like a cardboard,
and some of them are in their plastic.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
It's strange. It is strange. But anyway, back to where I was. This clearly has gained a ton of attention, specifically in Pennsylvania, and now news outlets are starting to pick up and cover the notes. One such news outlet, Eyewitness News, actually sent some of the notes to be analyzed. Here is that article from pahomepage.com. Several weeks ago, we took several of the notes to Spencer Rappaport in Kingston, a computer engineer with extensive computer knowledge. He's been analyzing the notes we have provided him. So what's his verdict thus far? Quote, I've been able to link up with other engineers that have been looking at it. We've been able to take apart these notes to a certain point. There is code in there relating to programming code and relating to websites. It's just putting everything together, or just putting together every note and trying to figure out everything because there's so much in each of these notes, said Spencer Rappaport, owner of Evolutionary Computers. Rappaport believes this involves much more than just a handful of people. I think it could be a hacker group, honestly. I think it's going to be a bigger operation, but with skilled people who know what they're doing to target the system to attack, says Rappaport. He also says the sheer number of notes being found indicate a sophisticated operation. It's such a wide spectrum of products. It's the way the paper is being placed in there. The commands for the folding of the commands to the product, also the distribution of it. It's not just a small area. This is beginning to go nationwide. Which I'm trying to make sense of what he says there. Such a wide spectrum of products. It's the way the paper is being placed in there. The commands for the folding of the commands. I'm like, it's weird that he talks about the folding, and then when you look at each of the notes, they're all folded different. They're all folded the same.
I was gonna suggest earlier, but I didn't think it could be relevant that there may be hidden code inside there. The problem I see with that outside it, because I was also gonna throw out earlier, but I didn't, and I should have. So now I'm kicking myself in the ass because I usually voice everything that I have in my head. But it also reminds me of the old, the way the old spies would have communicated with each other.
Yeah.
And I was going to say that, but I was like, that might be way off kilt here. But now seeing that hearing that it has these possible ties, because if you look at it from the aspect of say this is a hacker group that is trying to convince the population of something. Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I think that's going to fail.
Yeah.
Because most people don't have that. I couldn't look at those notes and be like, there's a hidden code in here.
No.
Look at this. Look at the way. So you're looking for needles in the haystack right off the rip of people who would be able to decipher that and move forward with your little quest. Maybe you're not looking for a large amount. Maybe you're just looking for select individuals. And I hate to say it, but like, would it be like some type of cell operation? You know what I mean? Like, yeah. And I don't want to use the T word and get in trouble, but is that a possibility?
And it also should be noted that there are, in the writings, there are little snippets of programming code. Like people have come forward and be like, I program for a living, and they're like, none of this really makes any sense as far as programming goes, but there are words and little pieces that are used in programming. So I think that's where this guy's coming from. He probably saw those in the notes and is like, oh shit, we better run with this.
Yeah, because in which case the majority of the note could actually be dog shit, and you're supposed to eliminate more of that note than what is, what is actually there.
And people are also saying, what if these are just like a key to a bigger cipher that's going to be released later?
Could be.
Like you got to break this down to get the key. The notes of games
is crazy. It's fucking crazy that those situations happen.
Yeah, we're going to have to get our Pennsylvania
and they happen enough.
Holocult on the ground.
They happen enough that like these are logical questions that people ask.
Yep.
Like, what if this is a big cipher key? And then, it's crazy that those situations present themselves enough for those questions to be presented.
The notes have gained so much notoriety that local news sources have began adding maps for people to pin their own findings to keep track of where these notes are being found.
See, that makes me feel like the FBI is in with the news station.
Yeah.
Wanting to fast track this operation.
Yep. This definitely sparked the attention of local, state, and federal law enforcement officials to try to get to the bottom of who's behind this. Congressman Dan Muser says he is looking for answers. Quote, "We're definitely going to stay on top of this. If it's concerning to our constituents, wow, which it clearly is, it's concerning to us. So we're going to stay in touch with our contacts at the FBI and the FDA. Everything that we can find out, everything we find out that we can share, we will." Congressman Matt Cartwright also chimed in, saying he's been in contact with several federal agencies about the notes. Quote, "There have been no indications of sickness, but you don't want to take any chances, and we want to find out who's doing this. It's obviously someone's idea of a weird joke, but you don't want to let that get any further than that. The FDA is aware of the situation. The agency evaluates product defects, and other complaints that it receives." Because I hadn't cussed in it long enough.
Yeah.
I had to get one out there. "Consumers who have recently purchased items that they suspect may have been tampered with should not use the product and return it to the retail outlet immediately." One person looked up the exact laws that tampering with these items break, essentially. They stated that, "I think the papers are just trolling, but when you start tampering with food and consumer products, that is a federal crime under the 18th U.S. Code 1365, tampering with consumer products." This comes directly from the federalcriminalattorneys.com. What are some examples? Consumer product tampering becomes a federal crime when the product affects interstate or foreign commerce. Most cases of product tampering fall within the federal jurisdiction and include the following examples: tampering with the product itself or the label, tampering with the product container, tainting the product inside, false claims that the product was tainted, making threats to tamper with the product, conspiracy with other people to tamper with the product, attempting the above actions under the first bullet point, slipping these notes underneath the product labels, such as candy bar wrappers, cardboard for pasta, or cereal boxes, is in direct violation of this code and is a federal crime. So there's some big consequences to what these people are doing.
Yeah. And the more I think about it, the more I have to retract my previous statement that if it is some type of cell, it has to be that they're looking for needles in the haystack. Because if they used it as some type of communication system, look how flawed that is.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's not, I'm reminded that it's not being shipped out of a distribution center. They're being found in like local stores on the one-offs.
Yep.
Walking through trails. So it's got to be they're looking for one-off situations. It almost reminds you of like the way the Egress Flyer gives you a vibe of looking for particular individuals. But I feel like it would be individuals that would look at those situations and instantly see the code or instantly be drawn to something within it.
Yeah. Like that. Yeah. That is, it is almost like,
because for guys like you and me, we're going to look at it and we're going to see a jumbled fucking mess. But I guarantee there are people out there that look at that and go, "Oh shit, look at this."
Yeah. This is making sense to me.
Yeah, yeah, and it just for some people like us, it just doesn't register, and so we are not the needle.
Oh, and they have to take it seriously, because the first thing that popped into my mind was this is not the first time this tampering has happened. The thing that popped into my head was the Chicago Tylenol murders.
Yeah.
Where you have a series of poisoning deaths resulting from drug tampering in the Chicago metropolitan area in '82. Victims consumed Tylenol brand acetaminophen capsules that had been laced with potassium cyanide. Several people died in the original poisonings, and there were several more deaths in subsequent copycat crimes. So these people were buying their Tylenol, not seeing any kind of tampering dealt with it, and consuming the cyanide. So it definitely has to be taken seriously.
And furthermore, the fact that it's done of recent times shows a level of dedication, because most of them stores should have cameras in them.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. But I mean, if you got good at it, it would be as simple as picking up a box like you're looking at the
absolutely,
popping it in and going.
But
for some of it.
But the thing is the person doing it aware enough that they look that slick?
Which,
because subconsciously, I think you would be worried, because we as humans have a habit of being like, I'm doing something nefarious, so therefore I must be on high alert. Well, it just so happens that most people notice when an individual is on high alert and is acting a little bit strange, and so it draws attention to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even though they're trying to be extra slick, it's just something that we do.
Which we've covered a lot of the theories already as we've been talking, but some that I just put together was, could the originals have been somebody that, at first I want to say somebody that worked at a specific store, but because you're not going to look sus if you're going up and you're looking like you're fronting shelves or whatnot, and you have a reason to be there. Nobody's going to find you sus being there. Nobody's going to find you sus touching the products. But when they started finding them at multiple different stores, I was like, all right, well, that eliminates one person. If it's one person, it eliminates them working in one specific store. Then I thought about vendors, like Pepsi vendors.
Yeah.
Or like some of those guys hit 20 or 30 stores, like booze vendors. They're going to be in there. They're going to be around, and nobody's going to question them one way or the other. So that was one theory that I had. It could be somebody in the retail business doing this. Not to throw any shade or anything on anybody with any mental illness, but schizophrenia was brought up a lot in the theories on Reddit and such, because one of the, I guess, common side effects of schizophrenia is hypergraphia. And it's when a person writes not totally incoherently, but they kind of create their own, like, almost language, and the abbreviation kind of sits in with it too. It's almost like a free writing of trying to put their thoughts all out. And you look at that, and it's easy to kind of go that route and be like, oh, this sounds like the ramblings of somebody with a mental illness, But it the way it's put together seems more than that.
I don't like it. I don't buy it. Especially if what they said is true, that there is hidden code inside of it, then I definitely don't buy it.
Yeah.
Because at first I could see it. I could have 100% see it, but with the addition of the investigation, and somebody was like, no, there's 100% code in here, and they essentially like explained it in a way that they can 100% dead to right prove it, then no, I don't buy schizophrenia.
And like when you initially looked at it, like you said, it looks like the ramblings of a madman.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But when they've got there's essence of programming code mixed in with all of this,
and tell me how many normal people know program code?
Yeah. And I don't know, a lot of the other theories we've talked about, like it being like some sort of recruitment programs sort of thing. Like, I don't know.
I think it's like the Eagles flyer, dude. I think it is a shot in the dark of looking for a needle in the haystack. For what purpose, what ends? Your guess is as good as mine.
And now they're ramping
That's where my gut goes, is that they're looking for a needle in the haystack.
It almost makes you wonder if the ramping up again, like I said, is a bunch of copycats just, finding the letters, printing them off and putting them out there, or if said original sect that's putting them out is ramping it up to try to find this person before something massive happens.
I could see it, man. I could see it, because that's, in the end, that's how I feel. That's what I feel like Egress was doing. I feel like they threw out a net to catch somebody.
Yeah.
I really do. And I feel like that's what they're doing here. The net has been cast. They're looking for people that can see the message inside the message. And it has to be. And I furthermore, it's got to be something to that effect. It's got to be something where and I don't know enough about anything to tell you, give you a proper example, but it's got to be something where a person from the Gen Pop looks at this, and it may even just need a glance. Like some people are just really good at pattern recognition. You know what I'm saying? Like where they can look at it and they see the oddity immediately.
Yeah.
It's got to be somebody like that. Where guys like you and me, we look at it and it looks like a jumbled fucking mess to us. We don't see that pattern. But I know there are people out there that can look at those things and be like, "Oh, it's right there. You don't see that right there?"
Yeah.
Well, no. I don't.
It's weird.
It is weird.
And it's a mystery that's still going on. So, that being said, Holo Cult members in our Schuylkill County, kind of northeastern Pennsylvania area, if you have one of these and you're looking to part with it, send it our way. If you like going out and hiking around the state parks and local parks and stuff, keep an eye out for thumbtacks, for things hanging from trees. If you find them, send them our way. P.O. Box 145, Field in Illinois 62031. It would be awesome to get our hands on some of these. But we're at the end. It is also weird that they talked about Saturn so much.
It is weird.
Because
it is weird. You're
going to have to wait till next week, but Kyle's about to dive into that one.
Yeah.
So hang out with us. We appreciate you all. Thank you so much for the support and kindness and love you all send our way. We can't state enough how much we appreciate you.
It, for the most part, keeps us here.
Yeah. That is 100%. But again, I hope the work week goes good and safe for everybody. Check us out at all our social medias: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, Discord, Reddit. Holosky Podcast, you know the drill. Till we meet again, stay safe, stay weird. If you get a skooky note, send it our way.